Okay. Hello, welcome to this live stream, and even if you're not, welcome to this streamed video. And today, this is currently the 99th video, making it the 99th special. And the reason why I chose to celebrate with a 99th video is because of the iconic trilogy I play called the 99 Trilogy. 99 bullets, 99 seconds, 99 moves. First, I'm going to play 99 seconds here. And then after that, I'm going to show you my creations on a video game called Disney Infinity. Mainly because in the future, I want to create my own video games. So I've been practicing on landscapes, my own lands, others, mainly because I want to explore it. And you'll be getting a piece of that pie. And without further ado, let's begin with this little celebration. I'll be moving the mic so you can hear this game. And let's begin.
Extra time. Extra time. Extra points. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra points. Danger. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. time. Danger. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Extra points. Extra time. Danger. Extra points. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Extra time. Extra points. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra points. Extra time. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra points. Extra time. Extra time. Extra points. Extra time. Extra time. Extra time. Extra points. Extra time. Extra points. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Danger. Extra time. Extra time. Danger. Game complete.
Sorry about that. I accidentally knocked down the camera. I put the microphone right next to it. Now, I forgot to mention that all of this is taking place on the Wii U. Yeah, the one of the least successful consoles. But to be honest, I personally love it. I know many people don't. But hey, I grew up with it. I played hours on it, even on those bad games. And I don't mean the ones with good quality. I mean the ones that are not well managed, like Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric. I really enjoyed that, which is crazy. But enough about that. Let's move on to Disney Infinity now. So I can show you the creations as a future game developer. And I know I can just try to make games on an engine, which I do have. But believe me when I say that I try to follow the tutorial. The problem is that not only that they're basically outdated, but also when I tried to follow the programming, as in press W to move forward, there was some error in the programming and they don't explain why. So because of that, I decided to hold off on game development until I have proper training, to which I'll be going to a school for that. So hopefully in the future my dream will be realized. And now to show you some of my creations. With some of them hoping that I would actually make them in an engine. Let's start with open world. Okay, so this one is supposed to be based off a scrapped N64 beta game called Dinosaur Planet, which was done by Rareware, which later transforms into Star Fox Adventure. Remember that? Yeah. Um yeah, I have the game Star Fox Adventure, and yeah, I'm very conflicted as a game artist. It was something that was really going to be Rareware's greatest project, but ended up being a failure due to one bad move, which is fusing Star Fox with the game. But yeah, this is the landscape. This is still work in progress, but hopefully you'll be able to enjoy what I have so far. And I'm going to point out some things because I want to make changes to where it isn't straight up a copycat. Fan games like Sonic and Freedom Planet. Yeah, they make some changes to make the game stand out. And this is basically going to be that, but I want to make enough changes where it makes it my own standout. Okay, first off, I have the beta ROM for Dinosaur Planet, and it was going to be those freestyle roaming games like Zelda Ocarina of Time. You have an open field and you have multiple paths to take, even though you follow one of them. This one here is more of a journey from one place to another. So basically, the hero has to journey across the land, not free roam, across, in order to achieve the goal to save the land. So first, I go down here. And of course, back in the N64, they have these um, winded pathways for loading sections. Auto loading on free roaming games that at the distance it automatically loads. It's like that, but since the N64, at least any platform before Xenoblade Chronicles, didn't have that kind of ability. So because of that, they use side-winded pathways in order to avoid not looking as bad due to loading process. So there are two pathways here. So this is supposed to be an open field in a way. I remember in Dinosaur Planet that there is something like a cavern, but I decided not to have that. And another thing I like to add change for my own Dinosaur Planet project is the combat system, because the combat system is also like Zelda. You press a button to focus on something, and then you press one button to attack, the other button to do something, mainly dodge. But for this one, I would like it more like those fighting games like Street Fighter. You automatically lock onto an opponent, and then you use two buttons for combat, one for fists, the other for foot attacks, like kick attacks. And if you want to flee, you just have to hold the dodge button to run. Another thing interesting about Dinosaur Planet is the equipment system. Because in Zelda, you have this thing where you find an item and then use it as a separate item. But in Dinosaur Planet, any ability they have requires magic. So basically, the abilities you have solely relies on magic. And that's an interesting take on. For me, it'll be like that, but instead of magic, it'll be the energy gauge, that once you use some kind of ability, the gauge will slowly, very slowly replenish. And you can still find stuff like food in order to fill it faster. But yeah, those are the changes I like to make. So I go up this pathway, go through this cavern, again a loading section, and this would lead me to the forests in the mountains. Now, I would have this thing where one of the abilities is the high jump, and I don't mean the usual press a button to jump, not like that. You need to consume energy in order to make a high jump. So again, a gauge for ability use rather than a separate item. Let me change it to a jetpack here. So yeah, another thing I find interesting is the item menu, because normally when it comes to RPG games or games that involves puzzles, you usually have to press a button to open up the inventory. Which, don't get me wrong, that's a universal idea. But in Dinosaur Planet, aka Star Fox Adventure, you use the right stick or the four yellow C buttons to open up your inventory. That's a really cool idea um because since the control stick was new territory ever since PlayStation's Ape Escape, it shows that you can do more than a simple camera movement with the right stick. The left stick to move, the right stick to perform actions. And yeah, I would like to try that as well. Get experimental. That will always be the fun part. It's a risk. It's a risk to take, but if done right, it'll work. So yeah, you can see all the hallways in this area, the forest and the mountains. Yeah, I want to add secrets and puzzles here. And of course, additional pathways for further exploration to find new abilities and such and continue the story. And then once that task is done, you can continue moving forward this way, which will lead further up the mountain. Yeah, I would have stuff here, a puzzle. So I go this way, another loading section, and this way would lead to the mountains. And you would have that view down there showing how far you've climbed. And this is where I stopped for now. Yeah, that's the whole tour of one side of a story. One last thing that Dinosaur Planet stands out is a two-side story where you play two characters as well, controlling one at a time. So you play one character, and then you can switch to the second character, and you have to pace between the two in order to continue the story. Yeah, that's a really. I mean, I know Sonic Adventure done that, but this is before Sonic Adventure. So I'm not sure how unique it is, but yeah, this is really creative. And I can see someone's already watching this, so welcome to this live stream, second live stream. So if you've missed some of it, you can replay this video once it's over. But for now, I will continue my creation list. So I'm going to show you another thing I've created. I got lots of creation. So if I have another 99th video special, I I can show you more of my stuff. Let's go with Day Night Isle. Okay, so this is straight up this is inspiration from Mario Party 6, not the game itself, but the cover alone. I looked at the cover as a kid and went thinking, huh, looks like it'll have some kind of day and night effect. Which it did, but not the way that I thought it would when I actually saw the game. And believe me, this came out, or no, I watched the game after I created this. It was that long before I became curious. But yeah, the day and night aisle will have this thing where, well, it will have this day and night effect. But the thing about that is that, unlike most games that has a day and night effect, this one will have environmental effects. So it'll be this thing where dark and horrific creatures will roam the lands at night. So you'll have to take alternate paths in order to proceed. And there will be side missions and such. So once it's done building here, we can continue on. And yeah, that pops up because I have power discs on the base for color effects. So yeah, you start at the beach, you wash step on the shores. So you follow this path, and you would see that there are villagers. Everything is peaceful. It's nice. And by the way, this part here, this part of the island will be very linear because, well, it's the beginning of the game. So you go here. Now I've mentioned that there'll be day and night effects, so there'll be monsters roaming. And let's say it's right here on the stairs. You cannot go there, otherwise you'll be knocked out instantly. And you cannot go that way because monsters are there too. So you'll have to take alternate paths to pass by them without being noticed. And I've added a little marketplace because it's a village. Of course, you need a market. And I even add little secrets here in this little build I got. Right there. A little marble. So, showing other routes. So, yeah, there'll be side missions and challenges. This is a free roaming game after all, so you gotta have variety. But again, they will have day and night effects. So you're gonna have to be, in a way, strategic about where or what you're doing, where you're going or what you're doing. So this is the first open world place. I was inspired by the music from a video game called Vex, a little guy with dangerous claws. And these things here, these bridges, these are tree roots of this um, really big tree. And of course, the landscape was planned to be bigger, but due to the limited space of this place or this game, I cannot fully execute that. Yeah, and again, day and night effect. So, in order to avoid any strong monsters, you have to take these routes, cross them so you don't disturb the dangerous beings. And once again, I added a little secret here. And there it is. And now moving on to the next area would be the islands. Now, in the day, you can just roam across the beach, all in this place being relaxing and such, nice and calm. But when the night comes, you'll have to cross these islands in order to pass by the monsters at night. This is still work in progress, so I'll be working more on that in the future. And this is how far I've gotten right now. And I do hope I can do more day and night effects in the future than just finding alternate routes. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. On to the next project. I do apologize for my stuttering. I'm not always like this, but yeah, it's something I need to practice on. Let's do Garden World. Now, what I find interesting about the platformer games of old, Mario, Crash Bandicoot, Croc, games like that, is how simple they are. As in, you have an objective, reach the goal, you run, jump, have some attack ability of some kind, smashables, collectibles, enemies, and that's basically it. And as well as some secrets if you can find them. And the controls are simple as well. You have run, jump, attack, maybe camera movement, and that's it. Something really that simple. Um, and hopefully I'll be able to take advantage of that, where I can make what would look like complex games would have the controls of an SNES controller, Super Nintendo controller. A D-pad, 4 buttons, shoulder buttons, that's it. It may not always work, but it is worth experimenting. So this is the first level. As you can see, I added a fountain. Now, this was inspiration by Croc, the PS1 game, a little crocodile with a huge adventure, and mainly the music itself, the first level of Volcano Island. It has this super joyful tone in the music, and because of that, I decided to make something peaceful. And that's why we have the garden. Now, I added a secret here, which you'll soon see. And of course, the thing about simple platformers is that secrets is what gives that replayability, finding every inch of it or of the level. And there's the secret item. And collect it and you're done. So yeah, all the way back to the PlayStation 1, they didn't have analog sticks for 3D platformers, which is actually surprising when I first realized that. So, and the controls they have for it was a D-pad, 4 buttons, shoulder buttons, and trigger buttons. So, how can you move the camera? Two options. You could have a focus option, like Zelda, like what Zelda did, or you can use the shoulder buttons, the L and R, to rotate the camera. And of course, nowadays we have the analog sticks. But when you're a developer who had what they had back then, you have to take advantage over how limited you are. And now this is the second level. Is the secret item collectible in your game? Yeah. That's that's part of the 100% challenge where you have to find and collect every single thing. And you might get rewarded besides saying, "Congrats, you're a true explorer," and all that. And I added areas like this and more hallways. This may seem simple because back then it was simple in layout, but when you play the game, it it can be challenging. Not all the time, but yeah, it can be. So it's not always about the visuals. The main focus as a video game is the gameplay itself. If you have something that can challenge the player or something worth replaying, then they will continue to keep playing and you'll sell more of that game. And one more. This little area. This is supposed to be an arena, for a boss. I didn't do anything besides that. I just want to add it because that's what the game would have. Like when you put enemies and such. Oh, darn. Sorry, I was looking at my other camera on my computer. For the arena, yeah. Okay, now moving on. I've shown everything I can. Let's go for a little side projects I've done. Okay, I'm gonna show my favorite ones. Time Twisted Worlds. Now this is inspiration from a fan game that I have called Sonic Time Twisted, which is basically Sonic CD with time travel, except that this one is done by fans, so their creativity is different. And the landscapes I've made is based on the music I've listened to. I listen to the past, I listen to the future, and and I decided to create the landscape based on my perspective, creativity. And not that I'm saying that it doesn't fit with their perspective, but I decided to make it more interesting in my perspective. So once it's loaded, I can show you. I've only made 4 areas in each um, toy box I've made. So for there's 12 in total right now, and there's still 2 or 3 more to go, which I'm not sure if I'll finish it due to the lack of resources I have. But with the ones I have right now, I hope you'll enjoy them. Now, I will tell you the names of the levels. That way, you can find the soundtrack for them on YouTube. So, if you want to listen to them as you observe the areas I've created, go right ahead. Let me quickly get something, and then we'll begin. It'll be quick. Okay, this first area here is basically attraction attack. And what you're about to see is the future. So if you want to play the music for it, go right ahead, even if this is no longer a live stream. I cannot go very far because I added barriers. This is just for panoramic sightseeing. Okay, I think that's all enough. And now it's time to time travel to the past of attraction attack, which is right over here. So in the future, it is really tall buildings with lots of lights. But in the past, it is a smaller city with a theme park. In case you're wondering, that's a Ferris wheel. Is this like a Tokyo inspired city? No, this is more the US. When we had neon lights and such before they were taken down. And as for this one, well, it's basically a theme park in a town. Okay, now on to the next zone, which is Raging Ruins. And now we're moving on to the future. We're going back to the future. And no, I haven't seen that movie. In the Sonic Time Twisted game, these towers would be like glass buildings, that you would see in the city. But for me, it is the stone buildings or towers, making them more ancient. And now moving on to the past. Over here, Raging Ruins Past. As you can see, it is more of a magical land. I still have the towers, but more fantasized. And I also added this feature where you can walk through them a bit. I can't go too far because, again, for panoramic views. Oh darn. Okay. So yeah, again, those are the towers from the future, so it would show what happened after it aged over the years. Kind of loses that fantasized vibe. And now that that's over, let's move on to the second Time Twisted set. Time Twisted World 2. See, I played Disney Infinity for hours since I was a teenager. I was amazed by how much you can do when it comes to creating your own world. I know there are other games that can do that, like Minecraft and Roblox. But when it comes to like a something like a nature environment and such, something more naturally designed, man, this is quite the experience. Which, by the way, if anyone wants to experience this, you can play Disney Infinity on Steam. It's available there with no portal with figurines. Nope. Okay, so the next two I got here is Fridged Fortress and Drifting Dynamo. So let's start here. Fridged Fortress in the future. Oh wait, no, this is the past. Sorry. Over here. This is the future. There we go. I also added a ski lift here. Not detailed, but as detailed as I can make. Ignore that Elsa castle. I can imagine a lot of snowboarding in this area, despite the lack of snow you see. Now, let's move on to the past. Okay, so in this area, it is an underground cavern world. So you can see little mountains, and there would be a castle, a small fortress, though I probably removed it. And all the stars you would see is basically ice crystals twinkling. Oh, there it is. There's the little fortress. So even some of the ceiling would twinkle of ice crystals. And now moving on onto Drifting Dynamo. Now this area is my personal favorite, mainly because of the music. So let's start off with the future. Now, as you can see, this is like a hangar for ships. And I added multiple layers of platforms. I think I think another reason why I like Drifting Dynamo here is my sense of creativity for this area, because you just have multiple layers of platforms everywhere. It's a sense of insanity. Why would we have these multiple routes and layers? It doesn't make sense. And that's really the fun part about creativity. As long as it has a purpose, even if it doesn't properly connect, that lack of connection can also add creativity. Okay, now on to the past. And then after that, I got one more set, and then I'll pull out something else. So this is the past of Drifting Dynamo, just an open desert and canyon. Okay, now for one more set, and then I'll bring out probably one or two more toy box worlds, and then I will end the live stream here. Time Twisted Worlds 3. Okay. Oh, it's only one. Okay. But yeah. These two plus one more hasn't been worked on yet, but I'm now getting ideas, I think. But until then, we're gonna focus on two more areas, which is tidal tubes. So right here is the future. So the music would be tidal tubes future. And you know those little oil factory islands out at sea? This is what this place is. And you look up, turn around, you can see that it's a traffic jam of ships. It's not well ordered. It's basically a ruin now. Not completely worn, but you can see something went wrong. And all those antennas and air vents. And now it's time to move on to the past. Now, this is straight from the game. There's no originality here. So you would see these ships circling around the island. Again, no originality. But it is a sight to see for sure. And the reason why I add these walls is because the area I showed you before is right next to this, so it would be weird to see it out in the open. I'm pretty sure that wait, no, you don't hear it. It's from the game. And that should be all for this one. Let's move on to the next toy box. Um, Let's do this one, Cliffland. Okay, so this one is free roaming as well with some level elements to it. Okay, I'm pretty sure you know Super Mario Odyssey, and it's a it has this free roaming thing as well as level segments in those maps. I think the best example would be the Sand Kingdom. Yeah. As soon as you begin the level in an open field, the music will start playing. It'll be like that for this one. However, instead of just jumping mid level, like what you would in Super Mario Odyssey, you have to find entrances to those levels in order to start, level playing. So I got two ready right now. Okay, so like I said, this is a free roaming world. So you can just run around, have fun, talk to people, play some challenges. And there'll be some story elements, of course. You can go up here, take this little loop around to a house. And if you take this alternate path here, it will lead to a level. I wonder if, let's see if I can jump in and show you a bit. So this would be a cavern. So you have to jump from stones to stones, platform to platform. And there would be it would be an obstacle course here where you have to dodge, spikes and such. This is meant to be longer, but because, since this is work in progress. Oh darn. Let me since this is still work in progress, it'll not be as smooth. Hopefully I can find some worker or helpers who could help me edit in a way that makes more sense. So jump down here, and that would be the end of the level. And if you want to play again, you just have to go all the way back by some kind of fast travel. I'm pretty sure there would be just, a map for fast travel like you would have in any other free roaming game. And now the second level would be above these houses or buildings. Like code developers? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I need someone to correct me on that. So yeah, there would be obstacles like towers and sails, stuff that would decorate the place. And again, there would be secrets. Of course, if you want to make the game interesting, you got to add some side quests. And then you would end here at the very end. Now, this one I'm now building ideas for is over here at the docks, where you jump from ship to ship, dock to dock, and you would make it all the way to here. Yeah, I'll be working that, and hopefully I can show that on the next stream. But then, yeah, that's basically it for this toy box for now. And let's bring out one more and then end this stream here. I got so many worlds and creations that it just wouldn't fit in a single stream. I mean, I could do it, but I can do so much with so little time, in a way. Wait, maybe I could show one more after the next one. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll add one more. Okay, one more. This one, the next one, and that's it. Now for this one, I couldn't think anything further besides the hub just yet. But again, it is work in progress, so we'll just have to wait and see, and maybe I'll show it on the next stream. So yeah, that's basically all I got. And why did I put it here? Let me edit that. If I can find it. There. I will put that right here. Here we go. No. Okay, so this is a little level hub that I've created. Again, I couldn't think anything further than that. But this is what I got for now. It's supposed to be a little bit smaller, just a little bit. Because you're only one person and you can explore only so much. Else, and just like the levels, there would be some collectibles and secrets, because you gotta add variety. And here's the little secret right here. It wouldn't be easy to notice, at least at first, but once you become more observant, you'll find it and find the secret. So the inspiration behind this area would be the music from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon called In Flora Forest. It was a beautiful track, and I recommend listening to it if you want calm forest music. But yeah, hopefully I can do more of it in the future, as well as other little hubs and levels. But until then, this is all I can offer for now. I'm gonna save so I don't have to mess with that starting point again. Where is it? Here. Okay, one more and then I'll end the stream. I'm pretty sure racing fans would really find this interesting. This one I recently worked on. plus adding new bits and elements here and there. Now, I've seen fans really want to bring back the Mario Kart era because it was that good. Who wouldn't refuse it? But yeah, I've played a few N64 beta games like Griff and Little Dragon 64. I can't remember the name. But yeah, they were planning to have Mario Kart segments, which don't get me wrong, it's a nice thing. A little nostalgia and such. But I also fear that because they're trying to bring back what they once loved by copying it would gain the risk of copyright strike. And that's really sad because there are people who want to be creative. They want to bring back what they love. They want to continue with what they have. But if you're not cautious about copyright properties, then guess what? You'll have a risk of being sued or a cease and desist letter. Like what happened to Griff, the Winged Lion, and Nitro. They were taken down because of spiral elements. Which, by the way, I've been working on a bit, but I'll pretty much show that on the next stream. So this will be a racing game, but it'll have especially since it's in Nintendo territory, definitely. Yeah. So this one I did say is a racing game, but there'll be three kinds of racings. This first one here is the traditional kart racing. So, running or driving, steering, and all of that. But for the free roaming thing, I will have this thing where you will immediately turn when you steer and not when you accelerate. Gives you a bit of a free roaming thing, so you don't have to hold down the nitro button all the time. And there would be levels and challenges and all that. And another interesting thing is that not many, a very little race games does this, but I'm going to also include boss levels. And this won't be the kind where you have to reach the end in first place, but rather gather abilities and take down the boss. And every time you do defeat a boss, you get to move on to the next segment of the game, which will be the sea level. And I don't mean those swamp boats that you would see in racing games. This will be different. So instead of race cars, you would have something like dolphins and orcas, something that can help you swim through these lanes. And I will add this thing where you have to dive at certain points to find shortcuts and speed boosts. It'll not be as simple as a traditional racing game. And I haven't worked on the third area as you can see here, but I will soon. Maybe soon. But yeah. The third one will be a sky race. And I don't mean the ships you would see in Star Wars and Star Fox. No, the controls they have for that would be too complex for something this simple. Instead, it would be dragons and birds. And just like the sea race where you would dive, you hold down A button to ascend. You go up a little. And just like the sea level, you would find shortcuts by ascending and even dodging attacks. Oh boy. So just like that, you have three styles of racing in one. Instead of just instead of just um instead of just the standard kart racing. So this was I was inspired by Sonic Riders because it's way different than the Mario Kart ones. You race on these hoverboards, and you have to use certain powers of the hoverboard in order to win. And I thought to myself, why didn't others think of that? Which I'm pretty sure some people have, but not as often because kart racing will always be the king of racing, especially Mario Kart. So, yeah, that's basically everything I can offer right now. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of mine. If I can reach certain goals as a YouTuber, I can show more of my creation. Another 99 set of videos, or 98, maybe 99 subscribers, 99 something that can be worth achieving. And hopefully in the future, I will become a good game developer for all the stuff that I want to make as an actual game, or actual games with an S. Um, yeah. And all the lists that you saw, all the lists that you saw on the load game. That's not all of them. I got plenty more on other Disney Infinity games. So yeah, I got lots to show in the future. So if you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe for more, support me as a game, support me for game development. And even if you didn't watch this live stream, I still hope you enjoyed the video off live stream. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Good. Goodbye.